shaping up to be yet another contentious election year. But how do you know your vote is secure? Darren has been looking into this for the past couple of weeks. Darren, what did you find?
Nikki, I found out that hacking the vote is complex but simple if proper protocols aren't followed. But election authorities are relying on education and increased security to protect your ballot.
Make no mistake, a lot of countries, starting with Russia, are taking a look at our election cycle, and they're going to try to influence the outcome of the election.
Well, the cliche goes, all politics is local. The effort to protect the votes behind those politics is much more complex.
Working and training as a team, not just throughout state government, but with our partners at the federal and local level.
So let's just cut to the chase. How secure is your vote? Well, the answer to that is both reassuring.
Voters should not be concerned about outside hackers.
And concerning.
They might only need access for a couple of minutes to be able to take control over the system.
Matt Dietrich and the State Board of Elections know cyber attacks all too well. Russian hackers found their way into the state system in July of 2016 when the system was down for maintenance.
Our voter registration database was hacked by an intruder who tried to change some voter information. They were unsuccessful. They had hacked into a read-only area of our database.
But those hackers still found information on 76,000 voters. Dietrich says those voters were notified, and so far, none have complained of issues since then. The state also used $13 million from the feds to train local election authorities on cybersecurity.
We do not want any of these local election authorities to be a weak link that gets picked on in a cyber attack coming into the 2020 election season.
Miguel Martinez knows a thing or two about computers and what people can do to them.
They're usually old operating systems.
That last quote, he's not talking about your computer at home. He's talking about the electronic voting machines our elections depend on. That concern has now gone all the way to Washington.
Technology, to be effective and to be protected, has to be more current. It's a very expensive undertaking.
What decisions led you to purchase those specific machines?
The original machines that Christian County had been using were purchased in 2004.
Christian County just agreed to lease new voting machines. Vermilion County got new machines too. Illinois voting machines and the computers that govern them do not connect to the internet, forcing would-be hackers to use more primitive methods.
Someone would have to physically have access to the machine to be able to change any votes.
But if proper protocols are followed, physical access should be just as controlled as digital.
The election equipment that I have custody of is stored away in my courthouse in a locked room.
There's a very strict protocol for how those machines are stored and how they get to the polling places so that no one can get inside of them and tamper with them.
Education and security, making sure your vote counts. Dietrich and the State Board of Elections are also working to stop disinformation around Election Day. He says if you have any questions on polls closing or how to vote, don't rely on social media. Call your local election authority instead.
The Macon County Clerk's Office is looking for judges for the upcoming general primary election. Judges must be registered to vote, and they need to go to a 2-hour training session before Election Day. They set up the polling place and work from about 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the day of the primary, which is March 17th. Call the Macon County Clerk if you're interested.